Imagine it's Saturday morning, you're walking in the park feeling great, but suddenly you realize that it was your old friend's birthday yesterday. He moved out of the city several years ago, and you've called him to say happy birthday every year for the last decade. But not this time. You somehow forgot that. How did this slip your mind? And knowing that you messed up, you're probably thinking right now whether you should still call him or not. How is it possible to keep every bit of important information in your head and never forget about anything? The answer is it's not possible, and I'd even say it's not necessary. Your brain isn't designed to be a machine that will store every single thing you need and remind you when your task is due. Some memories can slip from time to time. Honestly, realizing it myself was really frustrating. I used to believe that productive people always remember most important things. But do we really need to do it? Why keep them in your head if you can use exocortex? Exocortex I'm talking about is a productivity system that will reduce your brain's workload and help you achieve your goals without trying to remember everything. This video is about a framework called Getting Things Done, or simply GTD. I'm personally a fan of this system and can't wait to tell you why and how it transformed my life. If I had only 2 seconds to tell you what is the single thing that made me most productive, I would definitely include GTD. I will talk about the main idea of this method, why it can be extremely useful for you, how to use it, and at the end of the video, I will share with you a great application which I personally use every single day that can help you start getting things done. So if it's your first time trying it, or maybe you want to keep fresh in your mind key points of this methodology, let's not waste our time and let's get started. GTD is a personal productivity system developed by David Allen. He is well known for his book named after this framework. Getting Things Done is really popular, and I personally heard of it for the first time when I started reading self-help books as a teenager. But I gotta say, I'm not using GTD exactly as he's doing it. I slightly modified it for my own convenience, so don't be surprised if you notice differences when you hear about this method from other people. I believe it's better to adjust this framework yourself in order for it to work better for you. So, if you realize that you can change something in it and increase your overall productivity, just go for it. Why should you try getting things done? As I already said, I believe it can make you more productive. I'll explain what I mean by this broad term. One of the many things that separates us from other animals is our ability to plan and think ahead. Studies suggest that animal foresight may be restricted, and as you may know, specific plans can increase the chances of your goals to be attained. If you want to really benefit from GTD, you should use such plans, often called implementation intentions. As I already mentioned, this method will remind you of your tasks and priorities, but if you do it the right way. The slogan of the book is The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. Have you ever had a task that you procrastinated on several times and then thoughts about it were rushing through your head when you were doing something unrelated to it? Thoughts about unfinished tasks can haunt us and distract from our priorities at the moment. This study suggests that you can limit such impact of your unfinished tasks if you plan them. I personally noticed a profound shift towards more kind of relaxed state when I started writing everything important down and stopped worrying about remembering those things during my day. Another important benefit of getting things done I want to mention is time management and seeing a bigger picture. Your system will store numerous tasks from different areas of your life, and if you review it often enough, you will be able to see the areas where you need improvements and progress you've already made when you mark your tasks as completed. And seeing so many things you should do in the future may make you think about proper time management. You can't do it all today, so you'll choose only most important tasks and estimate how much time they could take. And before we get to the how part, I want to tell you that getting started with this system may seem really difficult. But the thing is, it's totally manageable. I did it, you can do it too. And if you do it gradually, step by step, it won't seem like a big deal. It may look pretty sophisticated for beginners, but you don't have to do it in one day. Take your time and enjoy the process. Even if it takes some mental effort, remember that it will pay off in the future. You can use paper for this system, but I personally don't recommend it because there are much more convenient ways to do it. Now let's move to the first thing we should do. As I said, writing down your thoughts, ideas, and plans is an integral part of your system. The place where you'll put them is called inbox. Set aside 10 minutes or more and start writing down everything that comes to your mind, like your plans, dreams, regrets, tasks you procrastinate on, ideas that popped into your mind, things you're grateful for, concerts you want to attend, your bucket list, movies you want to watch, etc. Don't worry, you'll sort them out later and get rid of some of them. I recommend doing it at least for a couple of days and accumulate more than 100 of such notes. When I did it myself, I wrote down more than 300 of them. When you edit a lot of small notes, move to the next step. But again, don't rush if you still have a lot of things to write down. The more things you include at the initial stage, the less you'll need to add later. Now let's create folders. In some applications, they are called projects that will cover every area of your life, like exercising, dieting, education, your job, personal life, books, movies, etc. It's not like Zettelkasten, where you can store your notes chaotically. You can reorganize these projects later, but it's important to divide your system into domains, which will help you sort out your inbox. Now let's get to another crucial step, organizing your inbox. There are lots of things there, but don't worry, it's okay. You can do the following with each of your tasks. Again, I'm not going with the conventional flow here, so you might later hear about different approaches. In that case, choose what suits you better. Firstly, ask yourself whether this thing is actionable. If it's not, you can add it to your note-taking system for further use or delete it. It's okay, sometimes you will change your mind and realize that your task won't be actually necessary. That's pretty simple. But what if it is actionable? Think about whether it takes less than 2 minutes. If it does, it's simple as well. Just do it if you have needed tools, and if you can't do it right now, move to the next step. Decide whether you can delegate this task to someone else. Your delegating ability can save you lots of time in long term. Don't underestimate it. If nobody can do it for you, move to the next step. Is it a multi-step task? If it's not, it's time to plan. Schedule if your task is urgent or have a concrete day in which you have to complete it. But quite often you'll realize that that task can be strictly scheduled, so I recommend using labels to mark tasks you need to complete next week or those you can procrastinate on. Don't forget that it's productive to set implementation intentions, and your tasks should be as obvious as possible. Speaking of concrete tasks, if it requires several steps, always write at least the first one. You can reduce resistance you may face in the future if you make your start more effortless. Then do the same thing you did with a single step task, but now with that first step of a complex task. By the way, remember that capturing your ideas throughout your day is crucial. If one of them pops into your mind and you don't record it and get distracted, then a couple of days later it may appear again and you'll be like, I already had this thought. How did I manage to forget about it? You receive so much information during the day, some of your ideas may be worth looking at later. So always write them down. Don't just store it in your head. You don't have to do it. After performing this sequence with every task from your inbox, it's time to think about reviewing your system regularly. I recommend taking a glance at your inbox schedule and tasks you need to complete this week, every day. It takes a couple of minutes or a little longer, but in order to see a bigger picture, allocate some time to conduct a full review of your system every week. I usually allocate an 1 hour block for this purpose on my weekends. This is the time when I look at each of the projects I have, correct my planning, enjoy achievements I had this week, and think about priorities for the next one. There are only 24 hours in a day for every one of us, but all of the tasks you have in your GTD system definitely take more than that. So, wise planning always comes in handy. Now let's get to the part about tools. When the GTD book was created, smartphones didn't even exist. So David Allen wrote about using a paper system. But in my opinion, it's really outdated and you can use more convenient options. The chances are your phone is right by your side most of the time, so it's perfect for capturing your sudden ideas. But if you're a fan of paper stuff, I'm not here to dissuade you. You just need something you will be able to use effortlessly and anywhere. Speaking of, there are lots of apps to choose from, like Trello, Notion, Todoist, and many more. I'm personally a fan of Todoist. I absolutely love it, and this is the case where premium subscription was worth every penny. I'll probably create a Todoist tutorial in the future, so if you're interested in boosting your productivity with getting things done and my content, the subscribe button is down below as usual. Alright, let's get to the summary. Getting things done, or GTD, is a very popular productivity methodology which, without exaggeration, changed some aspects of my life. People, unlike other animals, can plan decent future. It's extremely important, in my opinion, and studies show that specific plans increase success and maybe even help you with worrying about unfinished tasks. Another thing I like about GTD is that it lets you see a bigger picture and target specific kind of latent areas of your life. If you want to start, you can fill your inbox with many tasks and then sort them out, scheduling them and moving them to the right projects. After the initial collection of your ideas, you should add such things to your inbox every day and then sort them out. Honestly, it's easier to do than it sounds. And when it comes to choosing what you should use for GTD, consider applications which many people use for this purpose. One of them is my personal favorite, called Todoist. Subscribe and watch other videos if this one is helpful, and have a good day.